Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with REMAX, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier.
Well, hello, Rob. Hello. Wow, what a beautiful week it has been, just weather-wise. The temperature was just right. We had a ton of sun. Did that translate into a great real estate week for you?
You know what? It was pretty quiet than usual, and I don't know if it was because of the nice weather. I mean, it is perfect weather. I love this kind of weather. But yeah, I was looking at the sales, and I was going, "Hey, how come their sales aren't jumping as high?" So maybe the weather has been too good for the fall, but things are going to start picking up next week. But, usually the second half of September, that's when things start rolling because now everybody's back to the schedule, back in place. Now everything's all settled. Now you're going to start seeing some things happening. A lot of houses being sold and people looking and wanting to get in before the holiday season this year.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, we like to enjoy the nice weather, so we'll do that. But you do have some stuff to bring us from the world of real estate. And apparently you've been seeing a lot of homes being underpriced.
Well, see, here's the frustration. So we're seeing more and more realtors listing homes well below market value, which is fine. Now, expecting buyers to bid up $100,000 or more, even after the home sits on the market for 30, 40, 60 days. Now, the asking price is still far below what the sellers really wants. It's frustrating for buyers, and some say it's downright unethical. Now, holding offers for the first week is one thing, but dragging it out months later is another. So the smart strategy of misleading. So what's happening is agents are trying to hold offers. They're not getting it. People are not going. They're not falling for that crap anymore. They're not falling they don't want to compete. So if you're going to list a house at $700,000 and you're expecting $800,000 for it, it's not going to happen. It isn't. Like lower priced homes, you will, but not on holding offers. And then you keep the price below market value the entire time. And then every time an agent brings their clients through, they say, "Well, we want we don't want 700, we want 800,000 for it." It's misleading, and they should stop doing that. They should, you know what I mean? It's just. It's downright unfair for agents wasting their time going to that house. Like if you want it,
Okay, yeah. Was there a time this worked, Rob?
No, it worked when you held offers during COVID. You put the house at, let's say the house is worth 800,000. You put it at 700,000. You ended up getting sometimes 850,000 for it. But now. It's not working. People it's okay to hold offers, but just keep it for a week and that's it, and put it back to the price that it should be at, so that when a buyer's looking at it, they're not looking at something, say, "Hey, this is a great deal. Let's go take a look at it." They're getting all excited, boom, 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 and then they find out from the realtor that has it listed, "Oh, well, we really need this much money," even, and you're thinking it's been on the market for 30, 60 days. You're thinking, okay, you know what? This looks like a good deal. Why hasn't it sold yet? It's because the agent has been telling the buyer agent that's showing their clients, "Well, we need this much money." And we wouldn't have gone to that house in the first place if we knew the price was that. Because we're looking at homes based on the price, what the buyer has been qualified for by the bank.
Yeah, so you're searching through, what your buyer can afford. Okay, that house comes up. So you get them all excited. They get all invested. Lo and behold, they actually won $150,000 more. Is this something you're seeing in the Niagara area?
Not in the Niagara area, but I think more towards the Halton and GTA. Yeah, you're seeing it there.
And then because sometimes those trends are sort of hits the GTA and comes this way. Do you anticipate that happening?
It may a little bit, but it's the GTA agents that are listing in the Niagara area that are doing that. And a lot of times, like these GTA agents, the pricing, they mess up the pricing a lot. Like they mess it up. It's a good example is somebody in Niagara. What's the smallest town out there that nobody wants to go to or live in, and that's in the middle of nowhere? And so somebody in Niagara looks at the average house is like $500,000-600,000, and then he goes and sees a house for $400,000. He says, and it's overpriced in that little town at $400,000, and then the guy from Niagara is going, "This is a great price," right? Because he's used to higher
right.
prices. Just like the Toronto buyers, they're coming down towards Niagara and they're looking at $700,000 houses. They think, "Hey, this is cheap," like, you know what I mean? But it could be an overpriced house for the Niagara area. But the Toronto agent doesn't look at it that way sometimes until they start doing some research. But so.
And then is this something you can kind of spot out if you look at a listing even before talking to the agent? You kind of know, oh, I see what they're doing here.
You know what? Yes, you can. You can tell by if you see if it's a GTA agent, you got okay, and then you know it's too good to be true price, and also when the listing is 60 days on the market. So you go, okay, red flag, red flag, red flag. So and then you give the agent a call, say, listen, I'm not going to waste my time going there. What is the deal on this price, and why hasn't it sold? And then they'll tell you, well, we need X amount of dollars. Well, why don't you put it at that number so that because I would have either crossed it out on my list or not even consider it, and let the people that can afford that price point to view it. So, and instead of misleading everybody to waste their time to walk through the house and not get the price that you want. And it hurts the listing too. Like the agent doesn't realize it. People see what the previous price was, and it hurts the listing. And they're going to ask questions. I'm going to ask questions. I look at the history of every property that I look at. I want to know, why didn't it sell at that price? And now all of a sudden you put it at a different, and then you raise the price or whatever. So it's bad strategy, really bad strategy. And houses right now, they're, especially in the GTA and also locally, and Niagara. Niagara has got hit pretty hard when it comes to selling real estate. But it's hard to get full price for your house unless you're priced exactly what the value is. Then you probably will get it. And sometimes that's even hard. But you have to be careful. And the Niagara on the Lake, oh my God, they are taking the biggest beating in when it comes to real estate. It's realtors are starving out there. Because it's tough to get a sale going out in Niagara on the Lake. It's just almost gone to a dormant stage. So if you get an offer, it's a real
specialty market there, right?
Yes, specialty market. And if you get an offer on it, you better try to work that deal as hard as you can, because what happens is, and this happens all the time, is when you're working on a deal and the deal falls apart, 3-4 days later, the seller goes, I should have taken that deal. They realize it. And so that's why it's always good to keep a deal alive with the buyer agent. Say, hey, listen, even though we didn't put a deal together, don't look at anything else. Trust me, we'll put this thing together. It might take a few more days. And I do that all the time. I do that because I know how people think and what they do. I've done this so many times, and that, I'll tell you, has put a lot of deals together. Where, I'll give you one. There was one house that I had, and this is my clients. My people wanted $550,000 for it, and it wasn't worth $550,000. It was worth $500,000. So anyway, my clients signed back at, I think, full price at $550,000, and I'm going, are you kidding? So I told the other agent, I says, listen, don't look at anything else. Give me a couple of days. I said, we'll put this deal together. Okay. They go, are you kidding, Rob? There's a far stretch. So anyway, a couple of days later, my client obviously was talking to, their friends and family, and they said, hey, you know what? Rob's got our house listed. We got a low offer of $500,000, and we signed it back at $550,000. And they go, are you kidding me? $500,000 is a great price for your house. That's what, you know what I mean? So everybody was telling this seller of mine that he was crazy not to take it. So then a day later, he calls me up. He says, do you think we get that offer back? I says, let me see what I can do. I knew this was going to happen, and we ended up selling for $510,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, it's so funny. It's that thing of like, Rob, I'll tell my husband, we got to watch this movie. We got to watch this show, or we got to visit this town, whatever it is. Right. And he's like, oh yeah. And then somebody will tell him, at work, oh, you got to watch the show. And he'll go, hey, have you heard of the show? Yeah, I've been telling you about it 500 times. It sometimes takes that outside voice, right?
I gotcha. It does take the outside voice because you don't take the person that's closest to you, a spouse or relative, seriously. So what happened was somebody was telling me I had a little bit of something on my back, right? And then I go, oh yeah. And I've had it for 5-6 years, maybe longer. And I didn't know what it was. I just like every time it would scab up and go away and scab up, go away. So I go on this trip with my buddies, my buddy, and to a cruise, and we're on the ship, and it's his birthday and everything. It's a birthday thing. So I'm walking around with my shirt off, and another one of my friends' wives goes, Rob, what's that on your back? And then they go, you better get that checked out. And I'm like, whoa. I go, everybody's been telling me this, but for some reason when they said it, so I went. Right. So when I went and got it checked out, I had skin cancer. It's what do they call it? Basimol, or I'm not sure what the word.
Basal cell.
Basal cell.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I had it such a long time. I just didn't care about it, and so I had it taken out at St. Catherine's Hospital, and like I just like, it just takes one outside person to say, you better get that checked out. And so I went and got it checked out, and I didn't realize that I had it on the side where my sideburn was. So I had that also. When I went, I said, hey, listen, I have the same situation that there's a part of my sideburn it's always bleeding. So they cut that out too. So it's always the outside person that ends up getting things done. So we went way off track on this one.
No, for sure. But it's interesting. You might want to start getting the names and numbers of their family and friends when you take them on as clients. You can call them on the side and just say, hey, listen, can you talk to Bob and Sue? Because we got a good one here.
That's it. Exactly.
All right, let's talk about security cameras. And this is something more and more people are doing. We've had, some crimes that are very concerning in the headlines. And so people are putting up security cameras, including a Hamilton resident named Dan Miles. And now the city wants him to take them down. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's crazy. So Dan Miles had 10 surveillance cameras mounted on his house. On his home for 7 years. He installed them after repeated thefts and break-ins, and his footage has proven vital in dozens of police investigations. So he lives in an area that's pretty tough, including 3 homicide cases. Can you believe that? And police have credited his video with helping secure convictions, and even his neighbors say they feel safer with the cameras in place. Now, however, the city of Hamilton has ordered him to remove the cameras, okay? Now, citing a bylaw from 2010 that prohibits cameras from capturing images beyond the property perimeter. Now, I know about that, and some of those cameras clearly show areas beyond his property line, which may have triggered the order, possibly following a neighbor complaint. Now, this raised questions about fairness, practicality, as many residents also have doorbell security cameras inevitably capture footage beyond their property. Yes, the Ring doorbells that are out there. Now, Miles must remove his cameras should others be forced. Now, I've got cameras on all my properties, all my offices, everything, inside and out. Now, I know when the guy was installing them, he says, Rob, we can't have it beyond, like I go, look, I need to know the roadway too. I go, if some guy's scouting my property, I need to know if there was a car kept going back and forth, the same car. Like if somebody's, scouting to break in, they're gonna walk by or drive by your property quite a few times to see what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
And I feel that I should have that right to see that. I mean, why is it easy for the government to have cameras on every street corner, but we can't have it on our homes facing the street or whatever? I do feel, and they're saying that the 2010 bylaw is dated. Things have changed since then. And it has. There's a lot of crime happening right now, and I get people, like I get police calling me. I'd say I get about maybe 4 to 5 times a year in all the different properties I have. I get the police call me. They want footage of from my thing, and I just say, So I just send it to them, boom, and they have it, and at least they can. And how the police find people is they track where people are been driving or walking. Like they can literally track somebody from one end of town to the other by just knocking on doors and going to everybody's camera. Can you tell us can you show them what has been playing at that certain time on that certain date? It's crazy. There's a lot more we could talk about. I know we got a break to go to.
Yeah, let's get into it a little bit more because increasingly everyone has cameras. We have cameras in our pockets at all times. This is the Golfi Real Estate Show. Rob Golfi is with us today. He's sticking around. Hope you will too. This is 610 CKTV, Niagara's News and Talk.
I know the importance of hiring the best agents.
I'll take a photo of your house and post it on the World Wide Web.
Next,
Our multi-million-dollar marketing system reaches tens of thousands of potential home buyers every day.
go to robgolfi.com and put the best team to work for you.
Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today from the Golfi Real Estate team. Rob, just before the break, we were talking about security cameras, and you mentioned the Ring camera. I think almost every house in my neighborhood has one. I was walking the other day. Actually, it's funny you bring this up. I was trying to count like how many Ring cameras people had. And certainly those do catch what's happening out on the roadways. Because like you said, this is really an important tool for police.
Oh, absolutely. I'll check my Ring camera and see if anybody's on my property. Like I'll check, and I'll or somebody dropping. Like I know somebody would if they dropped off a package or somebody's ringing the doorbell. I can I can talk to them. Now, I mean, we need that for safety now. It's not like listen, 30 to 50 years ago. When somebody knocked on your door, you couldn't wait to go to the door and say, "Hey, who's there?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we got company. But now it's like, now people are like hiding behind the windows and looking through the drapes and saying, "Okay, who's at their front door?" You know what I mean? And
it's your worst nightmare for someone to just drop by without letting you know they're coming.
Yeah. So it like that's how our society's changed, and now like that's just in a course of 30 to 50 years. Like it's just like we're scared to answer our door. Like if somebody's ringing our doorbell, like we'll look at our phone and say, okay, who is this guy? Okay, he's got a reflective vest on. It could be a cable company, it could be a construction guy, but really anybody can buy a construction vest, a reflective vest, and knock on the door and act like they're any kind of company. So you have to be very, very careful with that, and you got to question it. And you almost need to, you almost need like a bear spray in your hand when you're answering the door, because if some guy even comes in to charge at you, you can spray him with bear spray. And I think bear spray is legal in Canada because we have bears in case you go hiking. So I don't know. You're going to have to find out. Everybody's going to have to Google that.
Yeah, bear spray is legal. It's the pepper spray that isn't. But
isn't that the same thing? Isn't bear spray and pepper spray the same thing?
Yeah, I think that's just how they get around it.
Yeah. This is for bears in Southern Ontario, just in case we have bears.
Bears, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. But yeah, we're scared. So cameras, I do believe in them. It doesn't prevent crime. It just kind of puts if you catch the people, it kind of you can see how they walk, and I mean it's easy to get away. Like they're wearing masks and everything, but it sees how they came to your property. And I, for instance, I know one guy in Mississauga. He had a renovation done in his ensuite bathroom, and it took I don't know, whatever, a month or so to do it. And after it was said and done, within a month, somebody went in to their back sliding door, smashed the window, went right up to the staircase, right up. It was like they knew the house. Yeah. It was like they knew the house. So there was no doubt that whoever was working on that property, on the ensuite, knew about their primary bedroom, whatever jewelry or whatever money or whatever was there, and just went up the stairs because they saw the cameras. They had indoor cameras and outdoor cameras in this house. It was a large house in Mississauga, and so you have to be careful, even when you have somebody working on your house. Maybe you have to ask for a police report on these people now, that people that work for you in your house. Say, listen, I need a police report. I need to know that we don't have criminals working. I know they've been rehabilitated. I get it. But some maybe not. Maybe some of them still may want to, still have that tendencies of stealing from people, and if they see the opportunity, they will. And so you really got to be very, very careful on who you bring in, or maybe get their driver's license. Say, listen, every person that's working in my house, I need a copy of their driver's license, and I need a picture of them, and I need to know who they are. So it kind of gives them a little bit of like, okay, whoa, we got to be careful. So, and if there's anybody different coming in this house, I need a copy of that of who they are. So then when if something happens within a certain time of somebody doing renovations inside your house, you could say, well, these are the guys that know this place. It seemed like they walked around the house when they were breaking in, and it's like they knew the place, But these guys are breaking in the middle of the day. They know the cops won't be there for at least 15 minutes to an hour. So they get in and they get out.
Alerted time.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, interesting case. I mean, you have to wonder why Hamilton would even make an issue of this, because as you said, it has been used in solving crimes, and isn't that what we want? So I wonder if he got a complaint on it, or why they'd even dig into this.
Yeah. You know what? Like my St. Catharines office, I have all the way around security cameras, but my St. Catharines office literally like butts up the building, butts up like a foot away, or not even, maybe 18 inches to 2 feet away from the fence line to the neighbor behind me. So I do have a camera back there, and I am exposing my neighbor's backyard. Now, there's no reason for me to look at it. I have no reason. The only reason I do have to look at it is if something happens. So I'll give you a perfect example. There was somebody drove their car and hit the side of my building on my 76 Lake Street office. And I'm going, what the heck happened here? So anyway, we look at the camera, and a guy, for some reason, I don't know what he definitely was drinking. There's no doubt about it. Definitely was drinking. And he drove it into the side of my building. Now, there was a decent amount of damage on his car. Now, his car was a company car for a dealership in St. Catharines.
No way.
Yeah. So we tracked it. We got the plate number. We called and say, who's driving this? And he said he was, and he's like, oh my God, they got me. So and I said, listen, just pay for it. And he goes, please don't tell my boss or whatever. So we had the work done. We paid for it. He paid for it. And I don't know how he explained the damage on his car. He definitely was probably drinking. He was with friends. And see, that resolved an incident and helped pay for damages that occurred on my building in St. Catharines. That's where the security cameras helped me, because you catch license plates with that, right? So yeah.
Interesting stuff. We'll have to see how that case goes in Hamilton. Let's talk about fuse panels. Now, apparently, Rob, a lot of houses in Niagara and also other areas in Southern Ontario have fuse panels. What's a fuse panel?
So a fuse panel is, you know those little round like fuses. They have a little like a light bulb on one end, and it's like a glass on the other end. It's just a tiny. Okay. They're fuses that and they're circular, and so there would be like a 60 amp fuse panel, or sometimes they're 100 amp panels, and usually the houses that have this are usually seniors that been in their house for 50 plus years. And it's worked fine. And if you blow a fuse, you just, go to the store, you buy another fuse. It's either 15 amp or 20 amp fuse. And then you just take the other one out, put the other one in, and you're good to go. So the hard thing about the fuses is that when a buyer is looking at the house and there's a fuse panel, which is not a big deal. The big deal comes into effect, and this is where the experienced agent would understand this, and that insurance companies will not insure the house if it has a fuse panel. They want
Ooh, okay.
they want upgraded. So sometimes insurance companies say, listen, you got 30 days to change that to a breaker panel. You got 30 days. And but they do not like having fuse panels. So slowly, I very rarely see houses with fuses now. You only see them with people that residents that have been there for 50 plus years, and you go downstairs and you look at the fuse panel. Oh my God, they got the fuses still. And I'm sure a lot of listeners that are listening, have that. Some of them have that, and it's fine. But when you're putting your house up for sale, and buyers are looking, you need to, it should be switched. It's easier to sell. It is easier, especially first-time buyer looking at it. It's one less expense they have to deal with after they move in, and that's why it's good to change it. Now, I don't 3 to 5 years ago, I remember it's like $1,500 to switch it out. I don't know what it is now. So it's probably
not that big of a deal to do.
Not a big deal to do, but it does make a big deal when somebody's buying the house, especially a first-time buyer, and they need to preserve their cash flow as much as possible when they're buying a house, because they just basically they struggle enough trying to save up for the down payment, but let alone trying to do repairs and maintenance after they move in.
So if a buyer's looking at a house and it has one of these fuse panels, is that a red flag, an instant no? What should they do?
So if there is a fuse panel, so the agent could put into the offer saying, fuse panel to be upgraded to 100 amp breakers. Or that's one aspect, which I probably would take that, and because it is hard to get insurance. The second part is that you negotiate more on the price. So that fuse panel could cost the home seller $5,000 off the price because of it. Meanwhile, it's only a $1,500 to $2,000 switch out. So they should. But as a buyer agent, you have to inform your buyer saying, look, two choices. We either get the seller to switch it out before you close the deal, or you're going to have to upgrade this panel within 30 days of purchasing the home, because the insurance companies are trying to do the changeover right across the board. And I'd say maybe 1 out of every 20 homes, maybe 30 homes has a fuse panel. It just depends. Like there's not many people. It's getting less and less now that there's homeowners that have been in there 50, 60, 65 years, because they're kind of slowly dying or moving into retirement homes or nursing homes right now. Because if you owned a house for 60 plus years, chances are you're in your 80s to 90 years old now.
Mm-hmm. And can they actually be unsafe?
They can be unsafe. Yeah, that's why they want them all switched over. And that's why insurance companies won't insure a house if it does have a fuse panel. Now, if you own the house for 50 years, you're insured. It's kind of grandfathered in. But if you're a buyer buying it, they want to switch over. The insurance company is going to ask you, okay, how old's the roof? How old's like the shingles? How old are all the different things in the plumbing, and what kind of plumbing, what kind of wiring? They don't want even knob and tube wiring in there. But so they really, really are trying to get everybody updated on the on their homes for the panels.
Yeah. Is it a good idea to call your insurance company before you buy a house, given this market where the buyers have a little bit more time? And of course, we do that home inspection. Should you maybe check in with your insurance as well?
Absolutely. So when let's say you didn't put an insurance clause on the offer, right? And just to keep it clean, while you're getting your financing and home inspection done, call the insurance company and say, listen, I'm buying this house, and it's a bungalow, 3 bedrooms, 1,200 square feet on so-and-so street, and it has fuses for the hydro. And they'll say, you're going to have to switch it out. Otherwise we'll cancel your insurance. So they'll give you 30 days with it. A lot of them. Sometimes they won't even insure it. So it just depends. So you have to, it's great to talk to your insurance company and find out what they're willing to do for you when it comes to insuring that property. But If you're an owner of a house that has fuses, and if you're going to stay there, to the end, that's great. But maybe your kids can switch it out, or switch it out yourself now, so your kids don't have that hard time selling the house, as an estate sale down the road. But my parents switched theirs probably 15 years before they moved out. Yeah, because my parents were in there for probably 57 years.
Wow.
So they had fuses, but I remember when my dad had it switched out many, many years earlier, just because, I don't even know why he switched it out. I don't know if he needed to, or he just wanted to upgrade. My dad was always making sure things were updated in the house, but he changed it over to breakers after. Maybe he got sick and tired of the fuses blowing all the time.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there are other things you should be looking for when you're touring that home that you want to buy. And Rob is going to tell us what those are coming up. You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show. This is 610 CKTV, Niagara's News and Talk.
Are you worried about selling your home on time and for the most money? Hi, I'm Rob Golfi. Every year we invest millions of dollars in our advanced marketing system, ensuring your home is seen by tens of thousands of potential buyers. We don't just hope it sells, we make it sell.
Welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today. And Rob, just before the break, you were telling us about those fuse panels, what we should do about those last few homes in Southern Ontario that may still have some left over. What about other things we should be paying attention to when it comes to houses, and just making sure those older homes are upgraded? Yeah,
knob and tube wiring. Be very careful. And I've bought a few houses that had knob and tube wiring. Now, there's a way of hiding it. I can tell, like, usually when I'm going through a basement, especially an older house, I got my little flashlight. I'll go through the joists and looking at the ceiling to see if all the knob and tube is gone. But I can also see when they connected the up-to-date wire with the knob and tube wiring, and that's what they do to hide it. You have to be very, very careful of that. Electricians do that. And so that when they resell the house, you think it's all updated wiring, which it isn't. And most people will update the wiring on the main level, but the second floor, especially on a 2-story home, is usually tough on the second floor. So you have to be careful with that. Now, a lot of people, to replace knob and tube wiring, they have to sometimes break walls to go to the second floor. Or if the attic, they put a pipe going up the side of the house and then into the attic, and then they go down through the 2x4s and come down through the ceiling joists and change up the switches for that. It becomes a big mess, but
so that one sounds expensive. That one sounds like a bigger upgrade than our fuses.
Changing full wiring in a house can be between $15,000 and $20,000, depending how big the house is. Yeah, it is expensive. Okay. And there was a house many, many years ago. It was a 4-plex that I was looking at, and it was a big house, and it had knob and tube wiring. And at the time, I was young, and I go, you know what? I'd like to buy this house. It was a good deal, and but I just I knew it needed all the wiring needed to be switched out. And on that house, it was probably about $25,000. And this is like over 20 years ago, like maybe even 25 years ago. And I'm like, it was a good deal too. I mean, it was a good deal, but I passed up on it. I always look at that house like, like it's easier to say I should have, but at the time, financially, it wasn't the right thing. But knob and tube wiring, be very careful, even though you think it's gone. I'll tell you a story. I had an electrician. I sold his house, and he hid the knob and tube wiring up on the upper levels. He hid it on purpose. And I asked him, and he says, Rob, it's all new wiring. Well, guess what? We had a certified electrical company go in there, and they said, no, there's knob and tube wiring on the second level. And I went to him, and I said this story. I went to him. I said, you told me there was all new wiring. And he kind of couldn't answer that. And guess what? I got stuck paying, to have some of that changed, because he lied to me. It's my responsibility as a realtor to find the right information on the house. So I put down all new wiring. I said, well, he's an electrician. Like, how better can you get, right? You know what I mean?
You believed him.
So now when I put on a MLS listing, I'll put down mostly updated wiring. So it's covered my tracks, mostly updated windows. So you know what I mean? So I'm not on the line for 100% of the whatever the wiring has been done. But that's a big factor. So wiring is very expensive. Yes. And also plumbing. Yeah. Plumbing is an issue.
Yeah. Sure. Experience is a great teacher. What do we want to look for when it comes to plumbing?
If there's galvanized, you should replace it with copper or PEX now, as old pipes can affect water pressure. And insurance companies, they also want either copper or what do they call it? The black pipe, the plastic piping, is it PEX? I guess what they call. So they want that. The old galvanized, they want out, and it just, you know what? Times change and things. There's either better products or maybe not. But I think copper is good, but copper is getting expensive. Another thing is sump pump and backflow valves, especially like in the Hamilton Niagara homes, are prone to flooding. So a backflow valve is always good to have, because let's say if the water is backflowing, it won't come back into your house. It'll just bypass and go to the next house until there's an opening for water to push up into somebody's house. That's a factor. Backflow valve when you're looking and buying a house. Roofing and windows. We always look at that. Shingles can be a very, very expensive thing to put in. But we're always looking at shingles to see how many more years you have left. Believe me, when those shingles need to be replaced, and they definitely it comes at the time that you just don't want to spend the money for it, but you got to do it. And
there's a difference between, because often when people replace shingles, they'll say, "Oh, we got a new roof," but there's a difference between a new roof and new shingles.
That's right. That's right. New roof, like sometimes if you've let it go too long, and then the water got in, and you need wood is rotted. Yeah, now you have to replace the wood and everything. So you got to be very careful. It's always good to replace shingles when you need to. If you start seeing a lot of curling, time to move, change it over. But it's an expense you don't want. Like nobody goes up to your house and says, "Has anybody ever said to you at your house, hey, Stephanie, beautiful shingles. I love driving by looking at your shingles." Nobody says that. Nobody. So.
I know. And I did have to put new shingles a couple years ago, and I really wanted them to after I paid that bill. Let me tell you, Rob.
Yeah. No kidding. Windows is a factor. I remember when wood windows were in. Now I rarely see houses with wood windows. Like a lot of them have been replaced with vinyl, and the vinyls are. You can get 30, 40 years out of them if you take care of them. So basically you move into a house, vinyl windows, chances are you'll end up moving out of that house before those windows need to be replaced. The vinyl windows are good.
I've also noticed, just for the windows, Rob, color-wise, black windows are very popular now. They're very trendy. I wonder if that's going to continue throughout the life of the window, if people will still like the black. I think it looks quite sharp.
It does look sharp. Well, yeah, it's curious to see in 10 years if that's going to be the trend still, or is that people are going to look at that and say, "Oh yeah, that's outdated now." So it's
right. That house is so 2025.
Yes, absolutely. I like to go with the trend. It's like same thing with kitchens, right? You go with white kitchen, you get way many years out. Or remember the backsplash of the kitchens, the glass, the little square glass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were the small little,
it's almost like
tiles.
Mosaic tile.
Yeah.
Type
and they had glass.
Yeah.
It's all different colors. I knew that wouldn't last long. I knew that. I would tell people, do not put that in, because that's going to date within 5 years, and then you're going to rip it out. And it didn't last long, that glass tile. It didn't. So yeah, you gotta be careful on that. Oh man.
Yeah. We got to do a show, Rob, on the decor trends that you've seen come and go in your real estate life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No kidding. Oh, I know. I see everything. It's crazy.
All right. So that's the top of the house, the roofing and the windows. What about downstairs in the basement?
Yeah, check the basement all the time. So you always like check the corners, like right in the back corners of basements, and see if there's any moisture or anything like that. And then if there is, check the outside, the downspouts, and if they're going down there, that means either the weeping tiles are clogged up underneath. And they need to somehow get cleaned out. But it's always good to run your downspouts away from the house and get the water away from the house all the time. That, I'm a big fan of as far away from the house as possible. You will never have any problems, no matter what the torrential rains that you get. Just have it go away and clean your east troughs. You got to make sure your east troughs are clean, because otherwise water will just spill over all the time.
And then when it comes to furnace and AC units, how old is old?
I've seen furnaces, and there's these old furnaces. They call Grimsby furnaces. They were made in, I think, Grimsby, I guess they call it Grimsby. They're big box furnaces. They are like a tank. They last forever. But when you see it, it's like, it's an old furnace, but it still works well. It's probably not as efficient as the new ones, but furnaces today don't last as long as the old ones do. Like if you get 15 years on a furnace now, it's like great. But the old days, you would get 20 to 30 years on a furnace. Like it's just, everything is being made cheaper, smaller, and whatever. But furnaces is definitely something to look at, because that could be the $5,000 to $7,000 expense that you really don't want to endure after you move in.
Yeah. And that can come up pretty quickly, especially on the cold days. That'll happen. Yeah. Also, if we're looking to list, we got to get it clean, right?
Yeah, you got to clean and declutter. A lot of times, I remember moving my parents out. It was I can't believe how my father can store as much as he can in the like the attic of the garage, everywhere. Like even he had a lean-to shed that was with the garage, and I'm like, wow, what the heck? How did you fit all this in here? You know what I mean? Like he had like 10 screwdrivers. They're all the same. I said, Dad, I go, why do you need 10 screwdrivers? All you need is one. That's it. Maybe two. So if you got a friend coming over to help you do something, but not 10. So they never threw anything away. I still got a little sledgehammer that he gave me, and it's got a wood handle on it. And every once in a while it comes off, like the steel hammer comes off. I know. I don't know why I haven't thrown it out. It's just kind of a memory of my dad, I guess, of having the sledgehammer. The old days of sledgehammers. If you keep swinging it down, it's going to fly off and hit somebody in the head eventually. But
it's more danger than help at that point.
Yeah.
All right. So get the junk, get it out of there, donate whatever you can. And then what about just kind of the looks? Like what kind of things do we look for? Should we take out the carpet? Should we leave it? Should we paint?
Yeah. You know what? A good neutral paint is good. That's the best way. Paint the trim, paint the walls, but I mean, make sure it's done right. Don't go in and paint over the what do you call it? The light covers, light switch covers. Like some people are really bad at painting, and they don't realize that. To them, it's normal. They go, okay, well, they probably didn't realize they can take the light switch covers off, but but don't paint over top that. But you'd be surprised how people do that. And when you see that kind of mess, you're like, oh, what the heck? If these people, you know what I mean? And change your filter in your furnace too. Like I check furnace filters. That tells me how this person's taking care of this house. If I'll pull up.
Oh that's a really good point.
Yeah, like if I see the furnace filters like disgustingly filthy, like you should be changing it every 3 months. But some people don't change it for years, and that tells me that the ducts in that house they need to be cleaned out. So always change your furnace. If you put your house up for sale, change your furnace filter. So anyway.
Yeah, even if you've never done it before.
Yeah, even if you've never done it before, just do it. Just do it. Just a little tip there. That's all.
You'll be able to fool Rob.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, very important part of the house, of course, is that moment when the potential buyer pulls up, right? The curb appeal. What advice do you have there?
Curb appeal. I had one guy, I told him, take out this big bush in front of his house. I go, you got a beautiful house here, and you got this overgrown bush. I says, take it out. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. And then we took a picture before and then after. I go, wow, look at your house. I go, I like your house. Before, it just looked like this one big, like it literally almost covered a third of the house. And you couldn't see it. Trim those bushes right down. Trim all the flower beds. Just trim it. Cut the grass. I always tell people when we photograph houses, and I says, cut the grass. And then the next day we'll come and photograph it. We see nice, beautiful lines of the grass cut lines and everything like that. It looks great. Yeah. So yeah, just keep things clean, trimmed and everything. When you're putting your house up for sale, you got to, most people, they want big dollars, but sometimes they don't want to do the work to get it. And they expect us to get that. And then the feedback we're getting is, well, it's a little sloppy around here, like we have to clean this place up. So it's good to, take care of your house before, while you own it and live it and give it a good cleanup before you put it up for sale.
Yeah, it makes it easier for that time when you do want to sell. Well, I got to go and clean out my garage, Rob. You've motivated me to get that cleaned out.
Awesome.
There's so much stuff in there. Always appreciate your time. Rob Golfi from the #1 real estate team in Canada, the Golfi team. Check them out, robgolfi.com, GOLFI.com. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
And this is 610 CKTV, Niagara's News and Talk.